The AV-8B Harrier II aircraft is an absolute beast. It belongs to a family of jets that can take off and land vertically, just like a helicopter. How cool is that? Its engine produces 22,000 pounds of thrust, which means it can hover in midair and then shoot forward like a rocket. Sure, it's technically subsonic, but that doesn't stop it from being a total beast in the sky. This jet has some serious history behind it. Back in the Falklands War in 1982, the first generation Harrier went head-to-head with Argentine Mirage fighters in dogfights, and it held its ground. After proving its worth, it made its way to the United States, got a massive upgrade, and became an even more capable machine. The Americans gave it all the tools it needed not just to survive, but to thrive in modern combat. And then came Operation Desert Storm. For 42 intense days, the Harrier II was in the thick of it. It flew 3,380 combat missions and dropped over 6 million pounds of ordnance. Think about that for a second. That's a lot of firepower delivered with precision and efficiency. It was a game changer in the skies, showcasing its versatility in ways no one could overlook. But it's not just a war machine. The Harrier II has a bit of Hollywood stardom in its DNA too. Back in the 90s, this jet was all over movies and TV shows. It became the kind of aircraft that made people's jaws drop whenever it appeared on screen. It's no surprise that its ability to hover, land vertically, and futuristic look made it a fan favorite. Now let's talk about the price tag, $30 million. Yup, you heard that right. This isn't just a jet, it's a flying piece of cutting-edge engineering. So why does this jet still have such a cult following? It's simple. The AV-8B Harrier II isn't just an aircraft, it's a legend. So let's take a closer look at what makes this jet so special. The AV-8B Harrier II is a fascinating piece of aviation history, and its story is nothing short of incredible. This jet just didn't appear out of nowhere. It was the result of a brilliant collaboration between McDonnell Douglas, British Aerospace, and Rolls-Royce. Just imagine the brainpower and innovation it took to refine a design that started all the way back in 1957 with the British hawker Siddeley Kestrel. But this wasn't just about making a plane, it was about pushing the boundaries of what a jet could do. Let's now talk about the upgrades that transformed it into the Harrier II we know of today. First off, the cockpit. The engineers raised it by 10.5 inches and redesigned the canopy, giving pilots a crystal clear view of their surroundings. This wasn't just a minor tweak. It was a game changer, making the jet easier and safer to fly, especially during those high-stress maneuvers. Then, the groundbreaking use of composite materials. This was the first combat aircraft to make such extensive use of them, and honestly, it's a genius move. These materials are lightweight yet super strong, which means the jet could carry more fuel or weapons without being weighed down. You'll find these composites in the wings, rudder, flaps, and even the tail. Built in St. Louis, Missouri, this jet took to the skies for the first time in 1981. Over 340 Harrier IIs were produced, and for more than 30 years, it was an absolute workhorse for the US Marine Corps. It's incredible to think about how one jet served as a backbone for so many missions. Now, let's talk about its engine for a second. The Harrier II is powered by the Rolls-Royce Pegasus turbofan engine, which has 2 air intakes and 4 nozzles that can swivel to direct thrust. Imagine how precise that has to be. 2 of those nozzles are near the front, while the other 2 are at the back. Together, they allow the jet to hover, take off vertically, and perform all those jaw-dropping maneuvers we associate with the Harrier. The design of the jet itself is a work of art. It's got horizontal stabilizers and those iconic shoulder-mounted wings with a slight downward slope known as anhedral. This setup gives it excellent stability and maneuverability, which is crucial whether it's launching from an aircraft carrier or flying in combat. What makes the AV-8B Harrier II so special isn't just its tech, it's the impact it's had. It's not just a machine, it's a legacy of innovation, precision, and daring. How can you not admire a plane that changed the game in aviation? The AV-8B Harrier is nothing short of amazing, and its unique features make it a true game changer in the world of aviation. Unlike most jets that stick to the conventional design with engine nozzles at the back, the Harrier II has something special up its sleeve. Smaller, valve-controlled nozzles in the nose, tail, and wingtips. These aren't just for show. With these nozzles, the Harrier II can perform a jaw-dropping maneuver called viffing, which means vectoring in forward flight. Imagine a jet suddenly making impossibly sharp turns midair, leaving its pursuers scrambling to keep up. That's the kind of agility that makes the Harrier stand out.
Intermediate for short takeoff and short landing, and down for vertical flight. As the pilot approaches, he will execute a brake. During this maneuver, the pilot will decelerate from 500 knots to 0 knots, utilizing his movable nozzles.
Now let's talk about firepower, because these jetpacks have some serious heat. It's armed with a 25mm GAU-12 equalizer cannon, a beast of a weapon that can fire up to 4,200 rounds per minute. Think about that. 4,200 rounds in just 1 minute. That's enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone on the other side. And the Harrier doesn't stop there. It's equipped with 6 underwing hardpoints and a centerline fuselage station, allowing it to carry an impressive arsenal. Air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground missiles, guided bombs, you name it, the Harrier II can handle it. This versatility makes it a lethal force in a variety of combat scenarios. And if you think that's all, wait until you hear about its speed and range. The Harrier II can hit speeds of up to 673 miles per hour. That's not just fast, it's blazing. Its internal fuel capacity of 7,500 pounds is already impressive, but add external drop tanks, and this jet can fly even farther, with a maximum ferry range of 2,100 miles. It's like the Energizer Bunny of jets, it just keeps going. From its ability to hover like a helicopter to its lightning-fast speed and devastating firepower, this jet is a masterpiece of engineering and ingenuity. It's not just a tool for combat, it's a symbol of what happens when brilliant minds push the limits of what's possible. The AV-8B Harrier II has one of those stories that just keeps surprising you. For a while, it looked like its time was up. The plan was to retire this legendary jet and make way for the new advanced F-35B Lightning II. But life had other plans, and so did the Marines. When delays in the F-35 program started piling up, the Marine Corps took a closer look at their Harrier fleet. What they found was unexpected and honestly pretty amazing. The Harrier airframes had way more flight time left in them than anyone had thought. It was like discovering an old car in your garage and realizing it still runs like a charm. This revelation gave the Harrier a much-deserved second chance. But they didn't just keep the Harrier flying, they made it better. The Marines gave the fleet some cutting-edge upgrades to keep it relevant in modern combat. For starters, they added the latest AIM-120 ARAM missiles, making the Harrier sharper and deadlier in air-to-air combat. And for ground missions, they equipped it with the 500-pound GBU-54 laser joint direct attack munition. This smart bomb combines GPS guidance with the laser seeker, so it's not just about hitting targets, it's about hitting them with precision. Even as the F-35B Lightning II, designed to take off and land vertically just like the Harrier, starts joining the fleet, the Harrier refuses to fade away quietly. The transition to the F-35B has started, with some Marine squadrons already making the switch. But for now, the Harrier is still up there, flying missions, showcasing its versatility, and reminding everyone why it's earned its place in aviation history. So what do you think? Should the AV-8B Harrier II continue to fly longer? Or is it time for the F-35B to take over completely? Share your thoughts in the comments below.